There's just too much time that my colleagues are spending on nights and weekends away from their families, doing more and more administrative work where we can automate this stuff.
Welcome to Startup Health TV, where we celebrate the entrepreneurs and the innovators who are transforming health. I'm Logan Plaster, here with Dr. Ian Madom, CEO and co-founder of Mocingbird. Ian, great to see you.
Thanks for having us, Logan.
I love getting these annual check-ins on what you've built. I always say this, but I partially love it because my father struggled with credentialing. He was credentialed in like 30 states as an emergency physician. And so you have made life better for folks as they maintain their certification, but it's a lot more than that. So tell me about the platform.
Yeah. One of the things that we love to talk about these days is how, people are in this credentialing mindset, right? But we take care of one specific part. We take care of that initial licensing and that initial certification through the ongoing maintenance and then to the renewal, right? Credentialing, think of credentialing as, how am I going to verify, Dr. Madom, that you are who you say you are, you went to the schools you said you do? What we're taking care of is, okay, you want to be licensed in these states? Well, that's going to take a certain amount of work and a certain amount of education to keep up on. And then once you've done all of that, let's go ahead and do the process of renewing it. And ultimately, it's just taking all of this manual work that's put on our backs, whether it be a doc, an NP, a PA, and putting it into an automated process so that we're just doing the education. I mean, there's just too much time that my colleagues are spending on nights and weekends away from their families, doing more and more administrative work where we can automate this stuff. So
now, you were a physician who was dealing with this problem.
Yeah.
A lot of doctors, they come against a frustration like this and they just kind of moan about it. But what was the spark that made you decide, you know what, I'm going to actually go through the pain and suffering of starting a startup and try to fix this problem?
Yeah. So George Fernane, who's our co-founder, he's an interventional cardiologist. He and I both, we know the favorite pastime of physicians is to complain, right? As you're saying, since you're related to one, we said, well, wouldn't it be interesting if we could solve some of these problems? We happened to be in business school at the time, back in 2016 when we started talking about.
So that was part of the spark. You're in business school.
Yeah.
Let's do something.
Well, everybody's solving problems, and we're like, wait, we could solve problems too. And we are, there was somebody I met with recently, an investor, who used this term, founder market fit. And I thought it was really cool. I hadn't heard it until recently, but that's kind of what we had. We said, we know the problem better than everybody else. Yeah. We're living this. Now, fast forward a number of years, we started out, okay, we got to solve this for clinicians. They have to engage. They have to be on this platform. Then we started to say, why are we doing that? We're just replacing one amount of work for another. Everybody wants to know about how much does everybody engage with your platform. The goal is for them not to. The goal is for them to do the education and have it in the background.
And go take care of patients.
Go take care of patients. Go home and hang out with your family or go on a vacation. So over the past 18 months, we brought in some folks who have a real deep experience in the licensing and credentialing space. Our current COO, who you met with last year, Sarah Bishop, she cut her teeth at Nighthawk. She spent a bunch of time at Babylon, at Medallion. She's coming to us saying, this is what other folks are doing and maybe not doing great. We can do it better and automate this stuff to help out not only the clinician, but also the administrators that support them.
Yeah.
And so now we're really filling up that whole life cycle and the whole ecosystem, supporting both the clinicians and the admins that are supporting them.
Yeah. So there's a side of this business that's very logical. You're like taking a system that used to be like phone calls and paperwork and you're digitizing it, all makes sense. And there's the other side that intrigues me where you're also finding yourself at the center of a whole sort of revolution, because we've got telemedicine causing people to be credentialed in multiple states, and the digitization of education in general. So like, how is that playing out as you grow Mocingbird and then you see the market shifting around you?
Yeah, that's actually an awesome question. It's something that we're talking about right now about telemedicine, because our tool has really resonated with digital health telemedicine companies. It's where we have grown the fastest. It's where we see the most traction. It's where we can really help the quickest with those companies. We believe that telemedicine should expand, that there should be fewer barriers, because what it's doing, it's providing access to patients. That's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Access is hard. Talk to your friends and family how hard it is to get in to see their doc. It used to be, oh, I could just get an appointment with the NP or the PA. That's getting hard, right? People are leaving states that are more challenging to practice in. Access is a real issue. Having telemedicine available to people, there is a ton of literature in our peer-reviewed literature about how to examine somebody over a camera. You could do a lot without actually touching them. Don't get me wrong, I still am a strong believer in person-to-person contact and seeing patients. But if access is an issue, then why are we doing this in a way, why are we setting up an ecosystem that makes it easier for people to become licensed? So Mocingbird won the RFP for the Interstate Medical Licensure Compact last year. We are building them their own portal so that they can license people in a more modernized way, but then they're also using our tools on their portal, Mockingbird tools, to track those IMLC issued licenses. That is something that we're really involved in. We are really involved in trying to advocate for clinicians to be licensed in multiple states, because it opens up their opportunity to practice, but it also opens up access. We believe that telemedicine is still very much the future, and everybody's starting to agree with us. We're starting to see the health systems put their hat into this as well and say, oh, we have this set of clinicians that are really valuable throughout our whole health system. We need them licensed in multiple states. We don't have a way of managing this. So that is an exciting thing to see. Okay, yeah, there's the blocking and tackling that we're really good at, but can we be a part of the movement that really empowers clinicians to open up their practice across the country, but then empower patients to get access wherever they need?
Where do you think we are in the innovation cycle in terms of being licensed in every state, telemedicine availability, opening up access in that way that
we're trying to cross that initial chasm, right? It's really, the infrastructure still isn't there. We don't even know who is appropriate to get licensed, or what are the tools that what do I need? I currently have a license in Rhode Island, where I practice primarily, but Connecticut, Massachusetts, right next to me, New York, Florida. A lot of my patients go down to Florida for the winter. Wouldn't it be interesting if I had a tool that said, Ian, you're already doing these requirements, you already have these things done, you could be licensed in these 3 or 4 other states very easily.
And taking virtual health referrals tomorrow. Yeah.
And through the Interstate Medical Licensure Compact, that thing has become faster, but the tools that we're creating through a non-IMLC track, we also believe will speed up that process. You can't go get credentialed until you have a license, until you start with that basic piece, until you've gone and done the education to start out. So we're trying to build that foundation, and then we want to build on top of that as a true platform. So our next step in this journey is, how do we take the education that's really compliance driven and really make it more specific to the clinician, so that they're delivering the care based on the most up-to-date education that they can have that's relevant to their practice.
That leads into the question I was thinking, which was, have you found yourself able to push the CME industry towards better education, not just tracking what's happening, but actually kind of flowing back towards the source? I've heard plenty of physicians complain about, my maintenance of basic life support, whatever it is, like, I didn't need this, but I had to get it. Are you putting yourself in a position where you can actually give feedback to what's useful?
Yes. We have made zero impact so far, right? And that's just honest.
Yeah.
Because they're just hatching onto the idea, our learners want to track what they're doing. We're like, we've been talking about that for 5 years, guys. So a lot of the big CME providers are out there. They're providing tracking tools now. They're not detailed. They're very basic. They don't really fit the needs of the clinician, but it checks a box for them to say to the organization who's buying their product, hey, we do it. At least they're having the conversation,
Yeah.
right? Like,
The market is getting defined.
I'm not here to say, oh, you're not doing it right. I'm here to say, thank you for joining the party, right? Now we're all doing this, but the next step is us giving that more dialed in education, something that's specific. When I go into clinic and see my spine patients, as a surgeon who's been doing it for 15 years, based on my panel that day, I have different needs than my partner who's been only in practice for 5 years, who has a different set of types of patients. Why are we not getting specific tune-ups in the morning based on what I'm going to see that day? Not something in the EMR that tells me, that goes bonk and tells me I can't put that order in, and I get frustrated because now a machine is telling me how to do my job. Let the machines enable me to make the best clinical decisions possible. That's where Mockingbird wants to go and is in the process.
That's exciting. That's exciting. All right, Ian, always exciting to get the update. Feels like we're at a critical moment here. I mean, your company is at an interesting inflection point,
We are.
as is the industry, and so it's going to be exciting to see what you do next.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming by.
Appreciate the time.